Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Northwest Access TV's coverage of varsity boys basketball. Tonight, a great showdown in St. Albans as the Falcons of North Country Union High School have traveled over the mountain to take on the Bobwhites of BFA. BFA comes into this one with a 4-3 record. North Country unbeaten, 6 wins, no losses in this altered 2021 season, and a big test for the Falcons. This is their only D1 opponent, and for the Bobwhites, a big test as well as they look to make it 2 straight wins in the final couple of opportunities to get some momentum before the postseason. Alongside Landon Potvin, I'm Wesley Kempton. And Landon, as the fans at home watching saw, it's senior day today, senior night here at BFA, and all 4 seniors for the Bobwhites on the court, and a good opportunity for them to show what the Bobwhite pride is all about.
Yeah, these guys have been working hard. They're great players, great guys. It sucks there's no fans because BFA is usually erupting on senior night. And outside there with the seniors is Noah Earl.
An emphatic tip controlled by the Bobwhites. Case Ballard is the big man in the middle for them. Also, Jake Reynolds, 2 Twin Towers, 43 and 44, and Reynolds outside to Ballard in the corner. Coach Matt Toof, kind enough to give us some anecdotes about these seniors that we will happily share with you as the broadcast goes on. Again, the primary focus, however, is that this is just a very good matchup of basketball. North Country without a single loss on the year, and a very interesting team, as you see the same lineup that Northwest Access has been privileged to see from North Country a couple of times this year. As a three-pointer in and out, and the rebound by BFA's Noah Earl gets poked free, and North Country comes up with a steal. And they're working it around. Cooper Bruick has it stolen by Earl. Earl is going to hesitate, finish with the right hand, and 2 points for the only underclassman in the starting lineup for the Bobwhites.
That was a great play by Noah. Just great anticipation. Got out in front of it, and easy 2 points on the other end.
Earl is an exceptional defensive player, well beyond his years as a three-point up and in for Bryce Gunn, the coach's kid for North Country, puts them on the board, and the Falcons have the early advantage.
It's always nice to have your kid out there banging home some threes.
Man defense for the Falcons is Earl. And a cross-court pass, a three-pointer in and out, and an offensive rebound just beyond the grasp of Jake Reynolds. That three-pointer was from Peter Jolly. He and his twin brother Colin are out there. Colin Jolly, you see in the low post, number 33, who's working his way around, and a lob inbounds to Case Ballard. Peter Jolly being guarded by Gunn, outside to Ballard. Ballard drives in, loses his footing and the ball, but Noah Earl comes up with it and will reset the offense with 6 on the clock in the first quarter. Jolly up top again to Ballard, now to Reynolds. Reynolds inside to Ballard, he's double-teamed and loses it. Team steal for the Falcons as Austin Giroux picks it up, and they don't hesitate to bring it down. Here's a three-pointer from the corner. No. Bruick thought twice and decided to work it back around. BFA has stayed in a zone through the early going. Skip pass, and a three-pointer is true for Austin Giroux. A pair of long balls for the Falcons.
I think it's pretty cool. We got 2 sets of brothers out here tonight.
Yeah, the Bruick brothers for North Country are an impressive tandem. Corbin Bruick, number 3, and Cooper Bruick, number 2. Out of the scrum, the Bobwhites have it with Noah Earl calmly coming the other way. Trying to go baseline, has no space for the shot, but they go around the horn, and Jolly driving in just inside of the free throw line, gets his own miss, has it blocked by Bruick, but not cleanly, and it seems as though Peter Jolly will go to the line shooting 2.
I think North Country was expecting a ball reversal there, which freed up Peter to make a nice drive, get his own offensive rebound, and put it up.
You have to really like the patience of BFA in the early going to not force anything too much, and yet they're still being willing to drive in. It's sort of that tightrope between patience and aggression, and they're showing it quite well in the early going, though they're still trailing by 3 as Jolly connects on the latter of 2 free throws. Good passing from the Falcons as a three-pointer ball is no good, and another rebound for Peter Jolly. It's a couple for him in the early couple of minutes. And Earl being guarded by Corbin Bruick. Over to Reynolds. Reynolds to his left, picks up the dribble. And it's going to be a turnover for the Bobwhites as Reynolds a bit too much mustard on that pass to Peter Jolly. Backcourt violation.
Yeah, it's going to be Jake's third turnover already in this contest.
BFA has not shown man at all through the first nearly 4 minutes. Another three-pointer up, another three-pointer in. Austin Giroux has 6 points. Not surprisingly, BFA is set to bring in their first substitute, Charlie Yates. Normally Yates would be a starter, and he's going to give them a little more of that perimeter defense and offensive versatility. Peter Jolly weaving his way through offensively. They thought that Earl was going to keep weaving through, but he didn't, and so it's a steal for the Falcons, another steal for the Falcons, I should say. But BFA gets karma, I guess, on their side, as the Falcons likewise threw an errant pass where they thought a teammate would be. In addition to Yates, the substitute for the Bobwhites, Justin Brown, the junior forward, and also the sophomore forward, Seth Richards.
He was pretty electrifying in that MVU game that you got to call on Sunday.
Indeed, Seth had 6 quick points in the third quarter as Yates works his way around, somehow able to get the shot off, no foul, but he cannot get it to fall. Yeah, I hesitated as to whether or not I should call Richards a forward as he picks up a block. Less than a minute into checking in, and to steal as it was poked away by Earl. Outlet from Yates. Earl inside to Richards, and Richards will finish. Textbook there for the Bobwhites. Good transition play.
I was expecting a nice, pretty dunk there, but he played it smart.
Take what you get. 2 points is 2 points, as they say. And North Country still patient as they work it around. Three-pointer as Earl skied for that one, almost got a hand on it. Offensive rebound for the Falcons, but Justin Brown is there for the Bobwhites, who take it back on offense. Yeah, Jolly over to Earl.
Earl got up there. That was pretty nice.
He was very close to getting that block. Earl, by the way, guarded now by Giroux, as Jolly is guarded by Bryce Gunn. And Jolly to Earl. Thought about it for a second. Will take the three, and not on target. In transition, Gunn hangs off the iron. Good offensive rebound, and Caden Micknack gets his first bucket, a putback, and North Country's in the double digits. 11-5, they lead. They've got a couple of substitutes ready to go into the game as well. Change in ball handler as Charlie Yates passes over to Seth Richards, who is fouled. To return to my point about Richards, I hesitated when he checked in. He is officially listed as a forward. I guess it's a testament to how versatile the young man is, but he is going to be in the middle, and he's going to have a hard time not being a center anytime he's on the court.
Yeah, when I played high school ball, there was a lot more centers, I would say, a lot more taller people. It's weird how much this generation is in height-wise, but Seth Richards, and he is super tall.
And impressive for the coaching staff not to pigeonhole somebody and disavow their versatility. A minute and a half as the Bobwhites have almost turned the ball over a couple of times this possession, somehow retain it. And driving through Dakota Rye, goes back outside to Brown. Brown gets the first long ball for the Bobwhites, and the deficit now cut to just 3. It's
a nice shot by Justin Brown. He's been working on that all summer.
Another three-pointer launched for the Falcons. Another offensive rebound for the Falcons. A putback, no good. Assuredly altered by the outreached arm of Richards, who does a handoff to Rye. I guess officially in the scrum, that will be an offensive or a defensive rebound for Seth Richards. And driving in, a block on a Thomas DeMar charge to the hoop. To the corner, Giroux goes back up top to Medley. Giroux works his way past a couple of defenders. BFA still in the zone as Brown charges. The three-pointer a little bit long, poked and kept alive for the Falcons. Half a minute to play in the first quarter. It has been a fast first quarter. We've had 2 fouls total. The only thing really slowing us down has been some turnovers.
Yeah, this defense right now for the Bobwhites, they don't usually play zones, so the rotations, they haven't been able to practice that much. And you've been able to notice the rotations are a bit slow as 2 early threes and a lot of offensive rebounds.
5 seconds and driving in, a great drive from Corbin Bruick. That's a veteran play there as he had to alter his jump a little bit when he saw Seth Richards there, and Seth Richards is called for the foul. That is the first team foul for the Bobwhites.
You're going to be saying that a lot for the next 3 years about Richards.
Bruick connects on a free throw. Impressive North Country distribution of scoring. Already 4 different scorers, and Bruick hits both of them. That said, of the 8 points for BFA, they've got 4 scores as well, and make it 5 at the buzzer. A three-pointer for Thomas DeMar.
That was something. Seeing that guy develop over the last couple of years, he's always been a very smart player, and to see him hit that shot was pretty awesome.
That was just a gutsy play. He went right up to the North Country defender, and everybody knew the situation. The clock was running down, but to finish that point, again, BFA, 5 scores in the first quarter after DeMar's three-pointer. And pretty even distribution of the scoring for the Bobwhites.
Yeah, Justin Brown 3, DeMar now has 3, Peter has 1, and 2 for Earl. But that could be a huge momentum changer now for the Bobwhites, as they had a rough first quarter with a lot of turnovers. But now, instead of being down 5, they're only down 2.
While both coaches are imparting the last bits of wisdom, we will again share a little bit of the insight that was passed along to us about some of the seniors for the Bobwhites, and we'll go through these throughout the broadcast. But you mentioned Peter Jolly, who has 1 point for the Bobwhites. Coach Matt Toof described him as a sharpshooter who has one of the prettiest shot releases in the program, but he can also handle the rock, and we've certainly seen that through the first quarter. Toof says, don't let his calm demeanor fool you. Along with his twin brother Colin, they both love the game of basketball and grew up playing it against one another in the family driveway. His love of basketball, this is Peter, came from his mother, Mary Ellen. And his greatest basketball influence is, in fact, his mother, Mary Ellen, as Seth Richards almost getting a steal, and North Country is going to get a three-pointer launch from Cooper Bruick and a defensive rebound for Richards. Peter Jolly, who has, again, just 1 point through the first quarter of play. He will attend college next year and is going to study business. Again, we'll give you little blurbs like that on the other 3 seniors for the Bobwhites as well as the broadcast goes on. No seniors on there right now for the green and gold, as Brown just misses a driving effort and the Falcons take it back. Yates tries to draw a charge. No whistle. I think wisely no whistle. And here's Dakota Rye, a handoff to Richards. Skip pass, DeMar for 3. Front iron. Yates lost it, got it falling right back into him. And battling down low, it will be an inbounds pass for BFA.
I really enjoy how aggressive Charlie is all season. How he's been very aggressive all season. He gets a lot of contact, and he shot a lot of free throws in that MVU game. Unfortunately, he didn't make most of them, but I like seeing how physical he has been.
Yeah, it's impressive that he knows what his role is and what his identity is as a player, really. It seems quite clear that even when he's having an off night at the line like you saw against MVU, he still plays his game. And it's to the benefit of BFA as the defense gets another steal. That defense has been a core part of the team identity for this Bobwhites team, even though they've been very up and down this year. DeMar finishing with the left hand. He's got 5 points, the early score, leading scorer, rather, for the home team. Bruick has it stolen again by Yates. Yates thought about charging him instead, goes to Richards. Richards, good hesitation, but can't get the finish. I can't imagine the fear that you must feel as a defender when you see a guy the size of Seth Richards charging at you full speed. And a three-pointer up, three-pointer in, Corbin Bruick, and a timeout for North Country.
Case is going to check in here. But that defense, the zone is tough for the Bobwhites because, like I said before, they play man most of the time. So the zone, they just got to figure out that rotation. And they were doing great earlier in the second half. They had 2 steals, but now, they're getting a little bit more tired and allowing a 3 right there by Bruick.
Well, and it will be something to watch out for throughout the night. Certainly a fatigue setting in now. You wonder what it will be like in the third and fourth quarters, especially if North Country continues to shoot the outside ball the way they have in the early going. That three-pointer that we just saw was already their 4th team three-pointer. And this is a team, we saw them in person on Northwest Access not too long ago, North Country, with a blowout win at MVU. They showed an amazing propensity to just explode. And Corbin Bruick, who hit the three-pointer just now, perhaps the most explosive of them.
Yeah.
So if he gets hot, watch out.
Yeah, because he had 21 points again in that MVU game.
And I think 15 of them were in the second half. Brothers, Cooper and Corbin Bruick. Cooper going over to Gunn, and it is passed back to Corbin. See, going on the baseline for North Country, Cade Micknack, number 11. And Micknack loses it a bit.
Having DeMar up there in the top, he's so energetic. You see him hustling back and forth from elbow to elbow is really just a momentum swinger for the Bobwhites right now.
DeMar picks up the dribble and goes over to Yates. Yates being guarded by Cooper, gets in, and a block foul, hard contact there as both players hit the deck. Yates doing a somersault down on the baseline after the collision that will send him to the line for 2. The foul was called on Bryce Gunn of North Country, and Yates, perhaps a good sign for BFA that he hits the first.
I was talking to the coaches before the game. Guess what their shooting percentage is right now on the season?
I think I nor the coaches are probably going to like this number, but go ahead.
39.1%.
Oh, my goodness.
39.
As Corbin Bruick, by the way, gets one in transition, and he has 7 points. Well, if you were the sort of coach to do an unconventional method, think of like the system at Grinnell College in Iowa. Statistically, perhaps it would be in your favor to just foul BFA, and
yeah.
But we'll
Makes
see
sense.
that. We'll see that percentage go up here as DeMar connects on his first. They're shooting above 50% in this game. 3 for 5 right now.
Yes.
Almost double their season average. And DeMar misses the next. Okay, so they're back to 50%. Still an improvement. It's a close game, by the way, 18-15. As North Country still taking what the defense gives them, and good ball movement, but Case Ballard is there for a good low post defensive presence. A block for Ballard. Good pass for Earl. DeMar hands off to Ballard. Lost it, but got his own rebound and put back. His first bucket of the game on senior night.
DeMar is so good at that.
And speaking of so good, Noah Earl, incredible. That's twice we've seen him steal, and BFA, despite 4 chances, can't get a finish, but they will keep it under their basket. Earl has such great anticipation on the defensive end, and it is just a beauty to watch him lunge through and lead the charge the other way.
Well, being able to put the ball in the hoop is one thing, but IQ is another, and that's exactly what Earl and both DeMar have.
Earl spins out of a double team. He's still stuck at the baseline, got triple teamed. A turnover for Earl, who just ran out of options inside. It's a 1-point game. From the corner, 3-pointer launched and little long as Earl gets a rebound, an outlet pass just past Cooper Bruick, and a miss for Tyson Pigeon, and locked up inside. Connor Leach and Cooper Bruick. Jump ball possession to the home team. For North Country, Austin Giroux has checked in. He has a pair of 3-pointers, both of them in that first quarter. Ballard up top to Yates. Yates, an ambitious pass, somehow not stolen away, and a mid-range jumper just off the mark. Giroux to Gunn, and stolen. Yates. The BFA defense has been suffocating, and they're doing a great job jumping through the passing lanes. As we saw Bryce Gunn almost jump through the passing lane, but wisely, Connor Leach came to the ball, and if you're a coach, you love to see that. You don't love to see your player get hit like that, but smart from Connor Leach to recognize that the defender had a jump, and so he went towards the pass.
Well, that's something you should be taught from middle school on, jumping to the ball. And that's what he did, thankfully. And, they got the ball.
And he prevented a turnover and drew a foul. Ballard over to Leach. Leach back to the near side. Tyson Pigeon driving in. Through the defender's legs to Noah Earl. A lofty 3-pointer, no good. Offensive rebound, but 3 Bobwhites players tripped each other up in the key. And the other way, good pass from Corbin Bruick. And North Country extends their lead to 3. A nifty behind-the-back pass to avoid the steal effort from Corbin Bruick.
Yeah, I wonder if that was on accident.
Yates drawing a lot of contact, gets his own putback and misses it. Another offensive rebound. Case Ballard for 3, and a bank 3-pointer for Case Ballard.
That senior night luck is kicking in here.
And it ties up the game 20-20, under 2 to play in this second quarter.
That doesn't happen without Charlie Yates' second efforts on the rebounds.
Third effort on the rebound. Inside, and Corbin Bruick, good moves, but he can't get it to finish. However, with one hand, Austin Giroux can. He's got 8, and the Falcons back up by a pair.
It's funny, we've seen all year for North Country that anybody on this team can take it over for their starting lineup.
Ballard grabbing that one and almost having it knocked away by Cade Micknack. Well, obviously, we've already mentioned what Corbin Bruick did against MVU. We're seeing what Austin Giroux is doing here. Cade Micknack led the way against Enosburg in a big win for the Falcons a couple of weeks ago with 18 points against the Hornets.
Yeah, I'm just looking through Burlington Free Press, and I've seen the sophomore Corbin Bruick, or Cooper Bruick. He's their top scorer one night. Cooper's another, Cade, and then, of course, Austin.
That's a good team identity as Brown drives in, and amazing that he got that one through 2 defenders but couldn't get the finish. And the other way, no finish either for Austin Giroux as Richards gets another rebound, and Earl brings it the other way, loses it the other way. Here's Austin Giroux, Cade Micknack, and Micknack with another. Trailing by 4 now. Leach, you can see talking to Justin Brown, telling him to slow it a bit. The ball is passed back to Leach, who sets up the offense. Earl to fellow sophomore Richards. Pigeon has it poked away. Tyson Pigeon. And good defense right at the line as Corbin Bruick had a hand on the inbound pass, which allowed North Country to get the steal, and they will have the final possession here of the second quarter. Cooper Bruick, poised. To the corner, Giroux drives in, finds a cutting Micknack, and Micknack gets it to go. Textbook play to get the final bucket. In fact, the final couple of minutes for North Country. They go on a 6-0 run and lead it by 6 after 2 quarters, 26-20. Landon, it was a really even couple of quarters, but again, North Country, while sticking to their guns, just able to scratch through a little bit of a lead at the end of that second quarter.
Well, I think it all comes down to turnovers for the Bobwhites. They had 7, 8 turnovers plus maybe, and that just leads to transition points, and they got a lot of those transition points, and just easy points on both ends, and that's just what has hurt them in the first half.
We'll get you some of those first half numbers in a bit, but first we want to do a couple of things here. We're going to mention another one of the seniors. However, we'd be remiss if we did not mention our sponsors for this broadcast, and in fact, the same group of sponsors for all of this coverage on Northwest Access, which has allowed this spectacular coverage in a season when fans and even family of players have not been allowed into facilities. So with that said, we do want to thank our sponsors, Northwestern Orthopedics, Collins Pearly Sports Complex, JC Image, Handy Toyota, Barrett Ford, and Clarity Realty with Keller Williams, Vermont. If your business would like to become a sports sponsor, you can contact the staff at Northwest Access TV. The number is 802-782-8676. And as promised, another blurb here about one of the seniors. Might as well go on to Jake Reynolds, who Matt Toof wrote kindly, it's almost impossible to get a shot off over the long arms of Jake Reynolds. He's the best shot blocker in the program, but it doesn't get to his head. He comes from a large supportive family who helped keep him grounded. He also has cited his mother, Jennifer, as his greatest basketball influence, and he will attend Vermont Technical College in the fall. He will study landscape contracting. It's also worth noting, and Landon, you pointed this out as well, that Jake and Case, they're both guys who work on their family farms, so guys with spectacular work ethic and able to balance that work responsibility at home, their scholarly work in the classroom, and they've been putting in work on the court. And
there's just so many great things that can come from working on a family farm, from work ethic, dedication, hard work. It's just great to see, and it shows on the court, like you just said.
Tonight is the first start, I should note as well, for Jake Reynolds. Also, Colin Jolly's first start tonight, and we'll share a bit about him in the second half. But again, through 16 minutes of play, a good contest, but North Country leading the home team 26-20. And we'll take a quick break, set down the headsets, and we'll be back to get you set for the second half and also give you some statistics for the scoring leaders and some rebounds as well. So stick with us. Northwest Access coverage of the Bobwhites and the Falcons will continue in just a moment. Wesley Kempton here alongside Landon Potvin for continuing coverage of BFA versus North Country, the Bobwhites and the Falcons. And through the first 16 minutes, the visitors had the edge, outscoring the home team 26-20. And Landon, you've got the halftime numbers for us.
Yeah, Austin Giroux had 8 points for the Falcons, and senior Corbin Bruick had 7. For the Bobwhites, though, Thomas DeBar leads the way with 6 points and a couple boards and a 3 that ended the first quarter. Case Ballard on senior night with 5 and 2. And the other leading scorers, Justin Brown with a solo 3. And Jake has 3 rebounds on his senior night start.
We want to make a quick correction, and Landon and I at halftime sharing a chuckle over this. You know, a lot of times you verify statistics and records through, you go straight to the source. So we went to the Vermont Principals Association website to see what the two teams had done in their previous games this season. And I mistrusted my own experience. When BFA won against MVU on Sunday, they got to a 500 record as North Country is going to try a three-pointer for Bryce Gunn, no good. Excuse me, Corbin Bruick, no good. This is Bryce Gunn, and his three-pointer, no good, as Ballard gets his 3rd board of the night. So with that win, BFA went to 3-3, but the VPA website briefly showed BFA with a 4-3 record. So that's what I said they had on the season coming into this game. But now Landon, thankfully, talking some sense into me, as Case Ballard with a great post move, giving him 7 points now. But suffice it to say, North Country with a win would be 7-0. BFA with a win would be 4-3. And Ballard a little bit too physical on that block, and it is his first foul.
Right now, BFA sits at 3-3, 7th in the standings, whereas North Country, they sit 3rd in their standings, just behind Lamoille and Montpelier.
And the standings are a fascinating, will continue to be a fascinating storyline as this shortened season plays out. You don't have the benefit of 20 games to let teams really sort of show any sort of true identity. And so in particular in D2, how important this game is for North Country. This is the only Division I game opponent that they are playing this season. And so it would do tremendous things to their index points if they were able to escape here with a win. But on the flip side, I was talking to Coach John Gunn about it before the game, and he acknowledged that, you know, you start to see the chips really falling if you get a loss here, because then they could easily, they're an undefeated team, but they could very easily drop down to that 6th spot in D2, and a testament really to how competitive Vermont Division II boys basketball is this season.
Well, yeah, Milton's really good. We saw them destroy BFA, but Lamoille Valley is only 4-0, and they're in the 2nd seed right now. So a win here would put their index points over Lamoille.
Corbin Brewer going baseline to Giroux, passing off to Micknack, who loses it, gets it back, trying to dribble as Ballard, fighting for it, was on the baseline. So it will be North Country under their basket. Jake Reynolds returning after 2 strong minutes. Corbin Bruick, no good as Yates tries to skip that one off of Bruick, and he did just barely, though not in the usual way, off of the thigh of Cooper Bruick, and it went near the North Country bench.
So is that considered a rebound for Yates? Or what goes on there?
I guess so. I'm not the official statistician, but I think those at home just learned how those decisions get made. Turnover again for the Bobwhites on the entry pass to Ballard. Here come the Falcons. Good pass to Micknack. He goes outside to Giroux, and Bruick almost loses it, finds his older brother. Corbin, nifty little pass, and Micknack from the free throw line gets his 4th field goal. He's got 8 points. And all of a sudden, North Country showing a full court press as Ballard almost loses it in the entry pass from Yates, but fortunately it bounces to Peter Jolly, who is going to bring some composure. And an off-ball foul as Charlie Yates put a little bit too much behind that screen.
Yeah, if the Bobwhites are going to want to stay in this game and North Country's going to press, breaking that press is going to be huge in this second half.
It's amazing how that just snap decision for North Country to go to a press really shook things up for BFA there.
And you got 2 guys right now running the short corner for North Country. That was my bread and butter in high school, and it's looking good right now for them.
As Cooper Bruick connects on his first three-pointer. 5 long balls for North Country as they lead by 9. Noah Earl, and guarded by Giroux, over to Ballard. Yates, guarded by Bruick, drives in to the left. 3 defenders, somehow gets it past, but the shot goes in and out. And the Falcons turn it over on their own end as Corbin Bruick tried to one-hand, tried to Odell Beckham almost. It wasn't quite that dramatic. Earl again to Ballard, to Yates. High screen for Ballard as Jolly for 3. No good, off the side iron, and a rebound to Bryce Gunn. Tremendous awareness of where their teammates are. You see North Country just passing around to one another, and Case Ballard with a big block on Cade Micknack.
Him falling there hurt BFA on the low post before the offensive rebound came, but he made up for it big time with that block.
Well, sure, North Country had 2 players without a defender in front of them, and fortunate for BFA that they're not down by double digits, as Ballard was able to get up in time and get a big block, but North Country still has the ball and a 9-point lead. Earl, second late on that steal effort. They go back to the zone. DeMar was the second late to challenge Bruick, and Corbin Bruick's second three-pointer gives North Country a 12-point lead, and Corbin Bruick, by the way, has 10 points now. Ballard, low wing, only 2 points this quarter for BFA. Good entry pass to Ballard, who works it around, and it was knocked out by Cooper Bruick. Derek Medley, back to Medley. Corbin Bruick, skip pass to his brother. Cooper, back up top to Medley. Medley just escaping from a lunge of Charlie Yates, and Noah Earl with the steal.
It's his third of the game, just on anticipations.
Earl to DeMar. DeMar for 3. No good. Gets his own rebound. Pass to Ballard, and the baseline jumper will fall.
I think we heard that swish from up here.
I love Thomas DeMar's sense to follow his shot, and Case Ballard with all 4 of BFA's points this quarter. Micknack. I think he was looking for Medley, but it got poked away. Here's Yates the other way, inside, and the pass was too far behind Peter Jolly, who could not slam on the brakes fast enough.
Yeah, they ran that transition well. They just couldn't execute.
You see him getting tired on defense. DeMar just got away with a big grab defensively. However, BFA got away with the possession as a fortunate break for the home team. Austin Giroux lost the ball off of his foot after running into Ballard. And a timeout for Coach Matt Toof. I think he recognizes that his players are fatigued. They kind of look at it as they go back to the bench right now.
Yeah, sometimes just falling down makes some good things happen. You know, I had 9 charges my senior year just from taking good charges or the flops, but either way. Did
you lead the team in that category?
I think I set a record.
Wow.
For BFA.
Well, as we get this timeout, we'll quickly mention Colin Jolly. So Colin and Peter, of course, are twins, and Colin is described as the more versatile offensive player, one of the more versatile offensive players in the team. He can knock a 3-ball down or back a defender down. He's calm at all times and has great footwork. What has been most impressive is that he has committed to becoming a stronger defensive player this year, which has paid off. And again, as we mentioned earlier, that is a key part of this team identity for BFA, their team defense, allowing them to stay competitive in all situations. Colin is also going to attend college and study business this year. And he also cites his mother, Mary Ellen, as his strongest basketball influence. Fascinating.
Case Ballard with his second turnover there. Just fumbled it in the post.
Running out of time to make mistakes like that. Trailing by 10. A minute to play in the third quarter. North Country content to just work it around, waiting for that one good opportunity. We saw against MVU, they had some possessions that lasted nearly a minute. It is part of their brand to just be poised and go and wait for that one shot that they want to take.
What's your opinion on a shot clock possibility in Vermont?
I love that it comes up every game. I don't see it happening anytime soon.
No, I think it could just bring the competitiveness up just a bit for Vermont high school basketball.
15 seconds. Corbin Bruick, under 10, high screen, goes to Cooper. Cooper looking for Corbin. And Medley, 4-3, no good. Earl with the rebound. For North Country, they were able to burn more than a minute off the clock in their final possession alone. I guess, Landon, my answer to you is I revert to how I answered Bryce a couple of weeks ago. If a 5-2 game, which at this point was about 15 years ago, doesn't spur any action into adding the shot clock, and that was a Milton versus BFA game around 2005 or so. If that doesn't spur change, then I don't see it happening anytime soon. I 100% agree that it would up the aggressiveness, the excitement level for a lot of games. But thankfully, in a game like this one, there's still good excitement despite not having a shot clock. And but North Country, it's another club that you have in the bag that they have the opportunity to just go through a minute off the clock. And so for BFA, recognizing down by 10, you wonder maybe a foul should have occurred there to stop it, but
or at least some pressure on the ball just to make them think a little bit more instead of them just being able to play toss.
Yeah. Well, all that behind us now as we begin the fourth quarter. Seth Richards, who is eligible for 3 quarters at the varsity level tonight after playing just the fourth quarter in the JV game. Here's a three-pointer for Rye. No good. Richards, the rebound. Can't get the putback, but he gets his own rebound. And good aggressiveness from North Country, but a little bit too much as Cooper Bruick is finally called for the foul.
See what happens when you fall down?
I mentioned that Richards just played 1 quarter for JV as they inbound to Brown. Brown traveled, didn't get away with it. The BFA JV team remains unbeaten this year, and certainly they are not better than the varsity team, but I think they would give them a run for their money.
Yeah, there's just something special about them with their intensity and their aggressiveness. And you're looking at those boys, they're built. Like every one of them must be working on a farm or something. But the culture they're building with how they speak on the bench, like just the culture they're building on the JV level is going to come to the varsity level at some point. And it really makes a difference. I honestly think BFA does not win the MVU game without Dakota Rye's energy on the bench.
Well, and how impactful Seth Richards was as Austin Giroux hits his 3rd three-pointer in the face of Seth Richards. And it's a 15-point lead for North Country. They're outscoring BFA 13-4 this half.
I think BFA needs to go to man. That zone is just tiring them out.
Touching back on the JV team, I think of the famous anecdote when UCLA had won all of those games in a row, but they had Lou Alcindor on their freshman team. And the anecdote was that the undefeated top-ranked UCLA team was only the second best team in the country to the UCLA freshman team. And again, let's be realistic. The BFA JV team is the junior varsity team, and it's not quite that, but it is something to watch them play. Every single time you see, they just run away with it. As another three-pointer for Bryce Gunn.
I think that's his second three, yeah.
Indeed, Gunn hit the first bucket of the game for North Country, and that's his second field goal. And it puts North Country up by 18.
Good platoon swap here for the Bobwhites.
Well, you might as well just search for a spark.
Yeah, anything. Get these guys going.
And running out of time and options. Under 6 to play in the game.
They did revert back to man with the new squad.
North Country likewise bringing in some new names, as we mentioned that Jake Reynolds, the best shot blocker on the team, on display there.
It's pretty nice. Pretty nice.
Reynolds and Yates both outside, and it will be a backcourt as Corbin Bruick tried to box and position Tyson Pigeon away from it. Either way, BFA gets an opportunity under their own basket.
That was a pretty smart play by Corbin. A lot of bad things could have happened for BFA if Tyson got a little too aggressive or tried to throw it off his legs or something.
Yates too strong on the reverse layup attempt. Amazing, such an aggressive player. He's got just 1 point. And speaking of aggressiveness, Tyson Pigeon with a reach in. Just 3 team fouls this half for the Bobwhites. I think they had just 2 in the first half. Cooper Bruick and Austin Giroux check back in. Gunn inside to Giroux, spins around and with the left hand can't get it to fall. Reynolds with the rebound and the outlet to Yates. Damian DiTilio is number 12. Good moves for Colin Jolly, but he was stuffed by the defender. As Yates is fouled, Corbin Bruick, the offender. Yates to DiTilio. DiTilio works his way around, kicks it outside to Jolly. Down low, and another reverse shot missed. That time Tyson Pigeon. BFA's offense just hit a brick wall in this second half. And North Country continuing to stick to their guns and play their game. Just methodically building and building.
Yeah, it's just been the fatigue effect. Ever since the second quarter, that zone, they worked so hard on that zone, they're just not here for the fourth.
Here's Yates with momentum. Might have got away with one there, but he cannot get a finish. Again, Yates has got some great opportunities in this game, but just cannot get his shot to fall. Good first step by Bruick. He kicks outside to Giroux. Another three-pointer up, no good, as Reynolds gets another rebound. That stat sheet starting to fill up for him. DiTilio to Reynolds. Reynolds, good pass, and a long three-pointer will fall for Colin Jolly. Timeout taken by North Country. Well, it's possible. We've got a lot of time, almost 3.5 minutes. But that was like crawling to an oasis in the desert for Colin Jolly to finally get something. Again, BFA had only 4 points in the first 12 and a half minutes of the second half before that three-pointer.
Yeah, basketball is all about runs. Which team can make the better run? And BFA is going to need a big mile run to come back from this one. But to go back to that shot from Jolly, I remember his freshman year, he dropped like a 24-piece McNugget on this team, MMU, I think, and he had like 4 threes from that range his freshman year. It was pretty cool to see, and I don't know, nothing's changed.
Well, good on any night, but especially on senior night to get a shot like that to fall. Also, as North Country will inbounds to Cooper Bruick and set up their offense. We'll at this point mention the final senior for BFA, of course, Case Ballard. This is his third year on varsity, and he is the captain of this year's team. He's worked on improving his game. It's been an important aspect to him, and he's got so many go-to moves, largely due to the work that he has done with assistant coach Rayum and Matt Toof. The 2 words that he says come to mind when you talk about Case Ballard: reliability, accountability. He is the cornerstone of this year's team. And fascinating for me, he has also cited his mother as his greatest basketball influence. All 4 seniors citing their mothers as their greatest influence in the basketball court. Fascinating.
I'll let you know, 4 for 4 on the night with mothers.
Ballard, by the way, will also attend college in the fall. He intends to study engineering.
Yeah, I got to play with Case my senior year. Just the genuine guy that he is. His personality is phenomenal, and I enjoy Case's presence.
Seth Richards with a good spin and cannot get it to fall, but he'll go to the line. Seen a lot of near misses for the green and gold.
That free throw percentage is kicking back in now.
Buddy banks in the second one. Richards now with 3 points.
Some man pressure. Think they'll hold it for 2 minutes?
Well, to your point earlier that BFA needs to force the issue, they forced North Country to not just stand around there. Corbin Bruick's going to go to the line where he has made 2 tonight. Back iron on the first shot.
Looks like
As Connor Leach hobbling a bit as he leaves the court. Dakota Rye, his replacement. And a bad break for Bruick, as that shot was probably going to fall in either way. It hit the strap that pulls up the hoop, so it's ruled out of play. A 14-point deficit. DeTilio calling the shots. He hands off to DeMar. DeMar inside to DeTilio. DeTilio can't get it to fall. So many of those in this half and in this game for BFA.
Damien was a pretty good ball player his freshman year. Sophomore year, played again, and then he took a year off his junior year. Or he took a year off one of those years, and I think that kind of set him back a little bit.
This is Jaleel Lilquist, and this is Seth Richards, and Richards has 5. For BFA, you feel heartbroken that the offense wasn't clicking like this for that sort of middle section of the second half when they just went silent. The deficit cut back to a dozen as the seniors all pad the scorer's table, and we'll return to the court all together at home for a final minute and 26 seconds.
Yeah, one of my keys to the game was to establish an inside and outside game for the Bobwhites today. They just couldn't get that going. They were able to establish the inside game, of course, with Case and Jolly and Reynolds, but that outside game, they only had 2 threes with Brown and DeMar.
Jolly, of course, finally hit that long one here in the fourth quarter, but it was well established by that point that the outside game wasn't a threat.
Right.
But a full court press, no surprise from BFA. Medley back to Bruick, going to the middle. He keeps the dribble, goes back to Medley. To the corner. Garrett Heath with the headband on for North Country. He's number 22, being guarded by Reynolds. With the ball is Isaac Driver. And almost stolen away, very close from Peter Jolly. As Bruick works it back. Medley up top. No rush. Ballard. And Jolly and Ballard both playing outside defense, but North Country still afforded the luxury of staying outside. For the last 30 seconds, they have not been closer than 30 feet to the rim.
It's a little heartbreaking. You get your hand on a ball like that, almost get a steal, and not being able to come up with it.
Bruick. And they work it back outside to Medley. Ballard finally fouls. Isaac Driver. But we're a long way from the limit. It stops the clock with 15 seconds to play.
Oh, I just noticed this. Isaac Driver actually has a little brother that plays on JV he's pretty good. Watching him here in JV. He had some nice threes and stuff.
Bruick will finally cross the timeline. Medley to Driver. Driver will just get a pat on the back from Case Ballard, and not the senior night that the Bobwhites wanted, hoped for, or expected. But you have to tip your caps to the Falcons, who remain undefeated. 7-0 on the season for them, 42-30 the final score. And at this point, Landon, we have the honor of naming the Showtime Player of the Game, thanks to our kind sponsors at JC Image. And it'll be an interesting one to come up with. Obviously, you know, there's several players for North Country who jump out, even though, you know, you would love to see the home team get it. I've got a few thoughts. I'm curious who your thoughts are.
I think Corbin Bruick, he set the tone for this team. The older one, I think that was Corbin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just set the tone for this team on both ends of the floor. He ended up finishing the night with 12 points, or was it 10?
10 points.
10 points, yeah. I got 2 free throws that he actually missed. But he had 2 threes, not many turnovers, and, you know, he had great defensive pressure on these Bobwhite guards. What about you? 14, Austin Giro, he had 11.
Yeah, see, so for me, I'm leaning towards Austin Giro, who in that first half, it was his long ball that really got the North Country offense moving, and he finished with, by my count, 13 points
13?
for him. 3 threes for him and a pair of regular field goals. Unconventional pick, but even though it was a loss, Case Ballard was the only scorer in the third quarter for the Bobwhites and kept fighting till the end. Finished with a strong showing of 9 points. Potentially could give it to him for senior night as well. Yeah,
9 and 4 from Case. That's pretty strong. I'd like to see him get a couple more rebounds. They have a tough game coming against the Enosburg Hornets on Saturday. That'll be their senior night. They got their senior night. Didn't go so well tonight. Hopefully they can go and destroy the party on Saturday.
As always, our thanks to JC Image for sponsoring the Showtime Player of the Game. And as we will a final time thank our sponsors. We do want to also mention that the girls varsity senior night will be here at St. Albans tomorrow night, and we'll have coverage of that. There will also be some more little anecdotes about the seniors for that team as well. So for a final time, we want to thank our sponsors for today's game: Northwestern Orthopedics, Collins Pearly Sports Complex, JC Image, Handy Toyota, Barrett Ford, and Clarity Realty with Keller Williams Vermont. If your business would like to become a sports sponsor, you can contact the staff at Northwest Access at 802-782-8676. Once again, our final score from BFA: North Country 42 and BFA 30. For videographer Megan Buckley, color commentator Landon Potvin, I'm Wesley Kempton. Thank you, and so long.